So as always, we're going to start to simplify this term by identifying the constant factors in it. So for those, we have 4 and -3. And remember, we want to move those to the front of the term so that they are the first two factors that we have written. So this term is equal to 4 times -3 times the variable factors that we have left over, x, y, and x. So right off the bat, we know how to deal with two of the factors here. We know that 4 times -3 is just equal to -12. So we can replace 4 times -3 with -12 and then write the 3 remaining factors. There's something interesting here though. We have two variables that are the same. We have x and x. I'm going to rewrite this one more time with the order of the variables switched so that the x's are next to each other. That's just generally a good rule of thumb in algebra, is to write things that you think are related to one another next to each other. This x times x is interesting. This is the first chance that we're going to get to use exponents. We've seen them already a few times in this course, but we haven't gotten to write our own factors with exponents in them. So this may seem like new material, or it may be review for you, but x times x can also be written with an exponent as x to the second power. In the same way, x times x times x is equal to x to the third, and so on and so forth. Remember that in all of these equations right here, I didn't need to write any of these multiplication signs. If we had just written the x's directly next to one another without any symbol in between, multiplication would still have been implied. So instead, we could just have xx equals x squared. I just wrote this out to be abundantly clear that exponents show how many of the same factor are multiplied together. Incidentally, if 2x's multiplied together is equal to x to the second power, then when we have just one x, it's equal to x to the first power. This seems a little bit silly to write though. Writing x to the 1 is more complicated than writing just x, so we usually don't move from having x to writing x to the first instead. So using this information about exponents, we can replace this x times x with an x squared. And with that information, we can rewrite this term as -12 x squared y. We're obeying all the conventions we know about how to write terms because we have the constant factor at the front, and then we have our variables in ascending alphabetical order. We have the x squared before the y. That was awesome. I know that this was a pretty complicated thing that involved a ton of different concepts, some of which we haven't focused on a lot yet. But don't worry, if exponents still don't feel totally comfortable, we're going to keep working with them a ton more